I came in this experience as a human being to have a loving experience. It's a very normal, natural thing for us to love. It's actually not hard for us to love. It's probably harder for us not to love. It's like holding your breath. Yeah. And if I want to breathe, I want to exhale all the time. That's what I'm going to do, regardless of what you're doing. We can get to the space of like, but they don't deserve it and they're not supposed to get. So then if you have to calculate that way, then don't be there. So even if you don't deserve it, I'm going to give it to you anyway because joy is showing up as joy. I'm not here to punish. I got to remember, punish you? That's too much. I'm going to show up. And when I get tired of you, I'm going to go.
Hi, welcome back to The Couch with Joy and Friends. We are here today and I'm excited about this episode. It's very, very, very special and we have a very special guest. Now, this guest is here because a lot of you women and men have been coming and asking questions, and I wanted to bring a professional in to talk about dating, relationships, and sex. Intimacy. We'll keep it at intimacy because y'all are getting the comments acting crazy. So I have with me, I call her Dr. Joy, and she is a licensed relationship and dating therapist and a sexologist. And I'm going to ask questions, and you guys sent in questions to ask her as well. But my concern when it comes to this dating thing is a lot of people that I know are dating just recklessly. It's real reckless. Nobody's really, to me, they're not conscious about like the long-term results of this temporary little feeling they're trying to have. A lot of people are settling as well. And I mean great people that deserve a lot of great things are settling. So I'm like, I got to get an expert in here because y'all ain't listening to me. So I needed Miss Joy to come on the couch and help us get this dating life together. So my first question, before we start, let her introduce herself to y'all. I'm sorry, Dr. Joy.
Your intro was so good, though, Joy.
Oh. Introduce yourself to the couch,
I will. So I am Joy, soon to be Dr. Joy. We're real close, but I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist. I'm a sexologist. I'm an author, but definitely a relationship expert. Everything I do is to serve you in terms of getting better with your relationship, but your relationship with yourself first. Because when we do that first, all of our other relationships go well too. So I want to help everybody raise their vibration and their energy to a space where you're attracting the kind of partner, as Joy is saying, that you deserve. Not just one that's available. You can get a lot of partners. That's not that hard. Mm-hmm. I'm sure you're cute. However, you deserve better. So I help people get what it is that they actually should have in their lives. So yes.
And we need you, okay? While dating and waiting on their person, purpose partner, life partner, wherever you your preference. A lot of sisters are giving themselves to people that don't love them and I mean, the people are saying, hey, I can't date you right now. What you want, I can't give you. But these girls are still giving themselves and giving their time and feel a certain type of way, but want better, but choose outside of what they want. How can you help the girl, or does she have to make up in her mind that she wants better? Or because they say, I want it, Joy. Like, I want a guy that's going to come and take me out. I want a guy that's going to do this. And then they choose the person that's saying, I can't take you out. And I'm like, so why are you there?
Because of something else. It's a couple of things. They're a lot of times because of potential. Potential is so big. Like, we keep dating potential. Like, I feel like if I pour all this love that I have in me into you, it's going to bounce back out. Like, I'm going to be able to see this reflection of this beautiful thing. I know that you are lovely. I know that you've been hurt, and that's probably the reason why you're not moving as far. I know that you had this block, but the kind of love that I bring is going to make it different for you. And that's not always the case, right? Like we feel like we can plant something there and make it grow. And that's true if this person is ready to go in that direction. But when they're giving you the direct information, I'm not trying to grow. I like it over here in this desert. Stop trying to water me. I'm good. I don't know why y'all keep putting water in so.
And I mean, they're drowning the water. And I'm like, y'all, wake up. See your value. And so when they come to you and you notice that, what type of steps do you give to women to show, or even exercises to help them see themselves in a better way to choose better?
Mhm. Primarily, I have them focus on their original love stories. Our original love stories would be
Mm.
our caregivers. It could have been our closest friends when we were younger. It could have been your grandmother, whoever, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they taught us, this is what love looks like. This is what's acceptable. You know, it's okay for you to work really hard and expect nothing at all. It's okay for you to be neglected and set aside your emotions and care for my emotions. Or they saw something different, right? They saw that somebody did have kind of an equal love, and that's the expectation. But when you get this original love story in there, you kind of repeat it over and over because it seems like that's okay. That's for the people that I love and respected. But what I'm helping them do is understand, like you said, their value and write their own story. Your value, your identity is not based off of what someone told you or what someone showed you, because maybe that person didn't actually have the ability to give you your true identity, right? We all grow up and we have like a title, like you have the one, this is the pretty one, this is the smart one, this is the one that's, she's not gonna do so much. Right? Like, and we take that on, like, I guess it's true because everyone keeps repeating it and we stay in that bubble. But you can decide who you're going to be. Every morning you wake up, you can be somebody different. And we don't believe that we can be somebody different. So, and we could be with somebody different if we want to.
Come on, wait. You can wake up every morning and be somebody different. Okay,
Absolutely.
What you mean, Dr. Joy?
If I want to be sassy girl today, that's what I'm going to be. If I want to be, real sweet today, that's what I'm going to be. If I want to be the person who is brilliant and who's creating things and who's working on my projects, and I'm not worried about what y'all doing, and I'm not comparing myself anymore, I can be that person. If I want to be an artist today, a singer today, or a therapist tomorrow, that's what I can do because it's my world. It's literally my world. I get to choose.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Who are you today? Look.
Today, I'm Dr. Joy because you requested and I said, okay. But I'm cute Dr. Joy today. That's what I'm today.
And sassy. Let me tell you, because I'm telling you, the bold energy is definitely you. I told you that last night. Better tap in. Okay. So, original love story. I've never heard that before, honestly. Going back to your original love story. Yeah. So, and you say that's so, because I'm trying to think of mine, like, what's my original love story?
Either what you saw or how you were treated. Like,
okay, so that would be my dad and my mom.
Yes, probably. Like if that was your close knit family that you saw most often, what you saw your dad do, your mom do, you're like, oh, that's how it's supposed to go. Or even
no, that's definitely true because, and trust me, it led me down a little road of, because my dad took care of everything. And I've said that in past episodes, like he was the man. Even last night I was saying how affectionate he was with my mom in front of us. Yes. There was no, there wasn't a time where she could walk by him and he wouldn't tap or touch or kiss or... Yeah. And so I knew that to be, oh, he likes her.
Exactly. So if you walk by a partner and they don't touch you, you like,
what are you doing?
Yeah, like what's the problem?
And I had to definitely go back and realize like they're not, I realized that dad was a good one. Like not that he was perfect, but he was a good one. And I'm like, maybe the rewriting part helps me not put my dad's face.
Yes.
On everybody else. Man.
Yes.
And make that man like, okay, he can do it.
Yes. Like, why can't you do it? My dad did it so easy. What's the problem? We all love different. We have a different style. And somebody might be telling you loud in their mind how much they love you. And you're like, you don't love me because you don't do this thing. Like, wow, really? We all, it's, so that goes to our love languages as well. We have different things that we want. Is it touch? Is it quality time? Is it acts of service? Is it gifts? Right? So you have to figure out how you like to receive love. And it doesn't mean you have to be with someone who has the same love language, but you need to learn to appreciate this is what they're trying to show me. However, there are some things that I just need to have. Maybe I need somebody to tap my booty every time I'm just letting you know. Like if you can't do this one little thing, really, you can't just tap me.
I need a tap.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Just if you had never tapped before, when you with me, you're gonna do some tap. Like just a little bit. So it's not hard to remember. My partner's love language is physical touch and mine is not. But but yeah, I know. I'm like, what, really? Like, no, it's not. That's not what it is. But I can do it. And what it is I am happy knowing my partner is happy. It really fills me up, right? So I do remember like, oh, he likes to be touched. Let me touch his hair. Let me touch his back. And I have an opportunity, not because it's like, it does something, the same thing for me that it does for him, but it does something for me to see him light up.
That's good. So, because it's almost like certain women would call that being fake. I've heard it before. And it's like, well, if I don't feel it, I'm not going to do it. And
you don't feel like connecting with your partner. You don't feel like seeing your partner smile. Like that does something to me.
And if they looked at it that way, I think it would change their minds about it. But it's like, I'm doing something that I don't feel. And how do they push past but I don't want to touch his leg. But he want me to rub his hair. I don't want to rub. Like,
is it like, I guess you want to get to the meaning of it. Like, what does that mean to you to do this thing that you say you don't want to do? Like, maybe you literally have a trauma around touching somebody's leg. I get that. Your partner will have to pick something else. Multiple choice. Wait, you gotta do something. So I can't do the trauma thing, right?
Got you.
I have no trauma around touching others. Like that's it's just not the first thing that comes to my mind.
Got you.
But I do understand if you're asking me to do something in a sensual way that really is uncomfortable for me, there probably is a compromise around this. But when we're talking about, it's just, if the belief is, well, that just means I'm being submissive and I don't want to be submissive. What is this about? What does that even mean?
Yeah.
You know, but you want them to be submissive to you, right? Are we partners? Is that what we're doing? Are we? Okay, so we can both partner in this situation. I submit sometimes, you submit sometimes. You're talking about two people coming together to create a happy, loving energy.
Yeah.
It's not somebody taking advantage. But maybe if we weren't so used to being with people who are absolutely taking advantage and aren't giving anything at all, we wouldn't be sitting over here mad when a good man comes around, or woman, whoever, and we're like, no, I'm not going to do all that. I'm going to sit back.
I did it. That was me. Yeah, I had to fix it though. I had to fix it. And I'm still fixing it because a lot of, when I try to explain it to people, I dated men who were emotionally unavailable.
Yes.
So it taught me to die down the affection.
So you're like, I'm not, what is it? Energy meets energy. Is that what we were doing? That's,
or more so like he doesn't want it anyway. So why do it? And it turned into that becoming a natural. Yeah. So when a man that was emotionally available came, I was just kind of like, I'm not doing that because you don't even. When I'm like, that's not even the right dude.
Yeah. But y'all all getting the same energy.
Right.
Now.
Everybody
gets the same joy.
Nobody's touching. I'm not touching you. Don't touch me. Don't like. It was real bad.
But I'm sorry. What were you doing?
But honestly, I think I was relearning how to. You know, to be vulnerable, to be open, to realize honestly, like, oh, he's nice. Yeah. That was first. Like,
it takes time.
Oh, he's telling the truth. Like it was real. Like, oh, okay. So now I have to change. Then I was like, okay, so Joy, you gotta sit with yourself and try to learn how to accept love, the genuine kind.
Yes.
And that was hard for me to do after having so many fakes.
Yeah. Were they?
Or not really fakes.
But they have a capacity.
You know.
But if you keep dealing with people with this capacity that's really not for you, you just have the expectation of the low capacity. So this is how I'm going to live my life. This is how I'm going to protect myself for the rest of my life. I'm going to just stay here, right? That's so unfair to you. To me, it's a self-abandonment. If you are a person who, like, okay, so my love language is gifts. In case anybody's wondering. So if you are a person who like loves to give gifts and you're with someone who never thinks of it like a special gift or whatever, you can like, I'm not doing that. But it's not about them when I'm giving a gift to them. It's about me. And like, I love that interaction, that engagement. To me, it's an adventure to find that thing that I know they really like. But if I allow you to turn that off in me, I'm turning down my light. And I'm not going to dim my light because you can't be up in a particular light or that's just not who you are. Why would I do that? So it comes back to you. Like, how am I loving me? How am I came in this experience as a human being to have a loving experience. It's a very normal, natural thing for us to love. It's actually not hard for us to love. It's probably harder for us not to love. It's like holding your breath. Yeah. And if I want to breathe, I want to exhale all the time. That's what I'm going to do, regardless of what you're doing. We can get to the space of like, but they don't deserve it and they're not supposed to get. So then if you have to calculate that way, then don't be there. So even if you don't deserve it, I'm going to give it to you anyway because joy is showing up as joy. I'm not here to punish. I got to remember, punish you? That's too much. I'm going to show up. And when I get tired of you, I'm going to go. But while I'm here, you're going to get all of it. And then that's it. But don't be in a situation where you're so upset that they can't do this, that, and the other, that you have to be a transformer and fold up into something else. Because why? I want to be out here all the time. Just so
That's dope.
yeah,
I love it. Okay. So how do you help couples push past the beginning lovey-dovey phase when real life hits and dates slow down, sexiness slows down, and work begins? How do you help couples get back to the spark of life?
Well, what I try to do is get them in the beginning. That always happen. But
in the beginning, we think we have it all together.
Yes, and you're happy to like, yes, let's do this whole thing together, and we could talk about the things. When you're mad, it's harder to see eye to eye because you feel like this person has somehow across the way betrayed you, or they don't understand you, and it's not going to get anywhere from there. No matter what stage I'm with a couple, I break down your values. So people need to do this in the beginning, but you can again do it anytime. I actually had a couple who did not want to do it because she knew their values didn't match. She's like, I don't want to know what it is. I'm like, okay. So I have them do 4 different sections. What in relationships, what are your values for finances? What are your values for intimacy? Your values for spirituality and for health. So are we vegan? Is that what we do? Do we work out together? If you were to get sick, am I wiping your butt or are we getting a nurse to wipe your butt? Like, I really need to know this stuff. Like, real quick. Yeah, they have questions like, I need to understand what's happening so I'm not shocked when I'm over here sick. And I'm like, really? That's what we're doing? Do we have a joint account? Do we have our own accounts? Like, do we save? Do we invest in property? Do we travel and intimacy? Do we have friends outside of each other? Do we have separate friends? Do we have friends of only a certain gender? Do we, you know what I mean? Like, what does that look like? And intimacy, how many times a week are we intimate? And what does intimacy look like? Like, do you want to, are we, okay, I'm trying to be proper. Okay.
No.
I mean, are we swinging from the ceiling or are we, we just sitting and watching
Netflix.
Exactly. I'm gonna touch you a little bit. Okay, I'm done. Like, what does intimacy really look like? So I'm not surprised. Like, really, we have to stop here? I thought we could grow together. Like, nah, girl, this is how much we can grow right here, and then we're gonna stop. I need to know ahead of time what we're looking at. So, and it doesn't mean that even before you get married that you have to actually be sexual, but you should have opportunities for being sensual. So and we can talk about what ideas you have without having to act it out. But you should talk. We need to understand these values. So, go ahead.
We should talk about it. That's a big thing. Okay. Because so growing up, we didn't have the talk about per se intercourse and what to do with your husband behind closed doors. They just told us that would happen. And we were expecting like, okay, so we get married and then we have babies. It wasn't you get married, you have to have sex with your husband and you are supposed to enjoy this, and it is a sacred experience, and it's not just for reproduction, but it's for pleasure, and you're supposed to make your marriage fun. There are so many things that they just kind of skipped over. It went straight toward wife, mother.
Yes.
And it's like when women get married and they're not just their husbands are looking for more than just wife, mother, and vice versa. Wives are looking for just provider and worker.
Yes.
What do women come to you that have been in the church and they're like, okay, this is what, like, how do I get past, or how do I just know what to do when I get there?
Unfortunately, most of the women that come to me come after they're married and then they figured out, oh wow, I really didn't know.
Oh, wow.
We didn't know. And they'll come, kind of early on, but then there's a little bit of shame of talking to anybody about sex. So they're just like, we'll just try to keep it in and we'll, talk to somebody at church and they can give us some idea. But people at church also don't want to really tell you the details. They're just like, I figured it out. You're going to be all right. So I'm like, really? Did you figure it out? They don't want to tell you no. But, like, no, I didn't figure it out. You're going to be miserable just like me. So just relax. Like, don't worry about it. But when people do come, I can hear all of the ways that they have been put in a place where they don't know how to explore each other, because they almost feel like, even though I'm married to you, like, am I supposed to explore? Am I supposed to touch all these things? Am I supposed to smell all these things? Am I supposed to tell you the actual desires? Or should I feel like I shouldn't put that pressure on her or him to do this thing that I want to do, because it's just not right? Because it's not that you think it's a thing of no one said if it was right or wrong. They just said, do none of this before marriage, but they didn't say, well, all of it is right. If you look in, and these are some of the things that we had to learn in our sexology program, right? We had to do some religion and sexology. looking in the Torah, I understand that, as a Christian, we don't necessarily follow the Torah, but that's the Old Testament. It talks about the fact that the husband and wife can do anything that you can imagine.
That sounds so good.
Everything can go everywhere. It specifically says that. Anything can go everywhere. If it's your wife's, I'm like, don't just lay there. We got all types of stuff to do. You can do it all. Like, this is the place where you are supposed to explore. It is your playground. Like, this is your person. You know what I mean? And it can be very divine and sacred. What I would suggest is practicing some of that sacredness before you get married without having to actually be sexual. So I guess this has to line up with your values as a Christian, like how much is okay. But if I'm engaged and I know, like, I'm promised to this person, they are promised to me, there are definitely things that you can do together that allow you to start to see how your body reacts to things, meaning stuff in public or whatever, like even like yoga. Let's do yoga together. Yes. Let's see how we can twist and turn and how flexible we are. Let me see what it even feels like just for me to move my body in this way. Did I feel comfortable? Did I like fall into it? Did that hurt? And I can talk to you about it after we did it together, right? Like, it doesn't have to be necessarily sexual, but it is sensual and it's intimate, right? It's something that will connect you, and you can get a better idea as to what your partner can really get into when the two of you are together without it being something that is against what you believe. Because I don't think that it's good for you to do things against what you believe, because you do feel guilty. I've had a couple like that where they both did not want to have sex before they got married. And the wife, prior to them getting married, wanted to do something. So she had some form of sex. It wasn't penetrative sex. But every time they did it, her husband or her fiance was crying. Like, it wasn't good. It wasn't a good thing. Because he was like, no, I'm breaking the rules that I said I had for myself. And I understood that. And so going forward, it kind of made a lot of things hard, because he was dealing with the shame of what he did that he felt like he shouldn't have done. But somebody has to tell you it is okay to do at least this to connect. If someone had given him a little roadmap, they would be so much better off.
And we need a roadmap. I feel like it'll stop people from having experiences just because them experiences where you be sneaking.
Yes.
Just be like, okay, I want to feel. Okay, I'll just go over here real quick. Then those real quicks turn into 30 real quicks.
Yes, they do.
Know what I'm saying?
Absolutely do.
And yes. 30 real quicks is just like you just add in, and it becomes this habit.
Yes.
And I think roadmaps, if they would, I feel like if in church they would have said, wait for marriage to have sex because you're that valuable in this way. This is what you're tarnishing. Like, show us what you're saying.
Yes.
Not just don't do it, because that I literally, I talked about this earlier too. I told my mom at a young age, I want to be a sex therapist because I need to know what y'all are saying no to. Yes. Like, why is this so important?
Ooh, they didn't want you to do that, because once you become a sex therapist and you realize what your body will do, you're like, oh no.
See? And now I have to try that. So it's like when I started doing research and really like studying the art of sex.
Yeah.
It was so much more than a penis going into a vagina.
Absolutely.
And I'm like, you can really go without the intercourse.
Yep. You can.
And they made that like the thing, like, oh, you're having sex. And I'm like, actually not.
I'm having an experience. Yes.
You know what I mean? And I think people miss so much from fear, number one. And it's ruining marriages. And women are even saying, I'll do this and I'll do that and we can do that, and not even know what they're saying.
Yeah,
Get
they don't
marriages, and the man be like, I thought you said you was.
Never, I know it was gonna be like that.
Yeah, she was like, I had to like downward dog. I just. So
yes.
I want to help those women, like, and Dr. Joy is what I call it, Dr. Joy. Helps in that, that finding yourself and knowing what you like before you say yes to a ring, sister.
I'm gonna say so really the basis of yoga, and people don't talk about this, is Tantra. That's really the basis of it. And I would say a lot of tantric practices definitely builds intimacy with yourself, but also with your partner. Doing simple things like eye gazing for 20 minutes. See, this is divine. When you're doing eye gazing, you're not doing it for the purpose of like, let me just look you up and down and let me just see how pretty your lashes are. It's not like that. This is, I'm looking into your soul. I'm looking at you beyond the physical being, right? Like we all are a part of our divine. Like I want to see that. I want to see the reason that I really love you. I want to connect to that inner love. Like I want to connect to the energy of you. I want to move past mistakes that you have made, because who you are just as this child of God is, that's just who you are. I want to see that. So connecting to that intimately is the beginning of all tantric things, right? It's about moving slow and about being in that moment and not thinking about performing, which is what happens a lot. Like, how do I perform? How do I do the things that I said I would do and not hate it?
Right.
You don't have to hate any of it. You can want to, we were talking about like being submissive. You could want to surrender to the experience because you know it's going to be fulfilling for you and this person who you have now connected with in a divine, sacred way. And you can do all that before actually having sex. So, Tantra, to me, we need to have a whole tantric thing in church, a whole tantric course in church is what I believe. If y'all want me to run it, let me know. You don't want me to run it. You don't run. But
I'll do meditation. Show you I'll do the meditation. Do the tantra. And when you say tantra, explain that for people who might not know what that is.
So tantra is basically the literal meaning of it is to to yoke together, right? Coming together. So you're bringing together your physical experience with your spiritual experience. You are honoring all of who you are. You're honoring what God gave us. Like he didn't give us parts of our body that create pleasure to just sit and look at it and be like, don't touch that. Like
it's gonna turn into a rock if you get all hard and stale.
I don't know if turning into a rock is a bad thing sometimes. I guess it depends on who you're talking about.
You're right. You're right. Absolutely.
But we want everything to flow, right? And so this is the art of allowing this flow, first tapping into what is your flow. It also talks about boundaries. Tantra talks about understanding your boundaries and what you need and what you want and being able to say no. Like that's not going to be something that enters my space and my energy. This is how I can show up as the just the full being that I am. And it's okay for you to say to your husband and wife, I know somebody's going to disagree with this, like, that's not the way that I want to do it, but let's find the path for us together. It's unique for us. Let's do it together. Don't impose this on me. I'm not going to impose this on you, but I know that there's something when our two energies come together, it is so beautiful that both of us will be satisfied if we allow ourselves to drop into it instead of being scared and feeling shameful around it. So.
You just say things so well. Oh, good. Okay. So that's dope. Okay. So no roadmap in church. Come to Dr. Joy. Y'all need a better, roadmap to opening up and with your husbands and being free. Because you're married now.
Do all the
Be free. You can do all the things guilt-free, shame-free. It's like, for the singles, the single Christians, y'all hold it down. Hold it down. It's hard out here, and y'all settling for some things that temporary discomfort should not make a permanent decision.
Yes.
Just wait on it. Wait. Get to know yourself. Get to know your likes, your passions. Can you communicate in that relationship that you're begging for? Do you even know how to keep it going and fun? You get bored with yourself too quick. You do. You get bored. I don't want and you want somebody else to come. So we learning how to consciously date and some intentional intimacy. That's what I'm trying to cultivate. Yeah. Honestly, the whole families, people really enjoying being single, and some people want relationships. A lot of my friends want them, but there's a lot of times where they're like, I'm gonna be single forever. I could do this. And I mean, it's like, and I'm a whole family unit person. That's because, like you said, the original love story.
Yes, that you saw. Yes. But some people are good with being a rich auntie. Like, that's cool. Like, just be the single rich auntie. Yeah,
rich auntie be wanting somebody. I be feeling like, rich auntie. Rich auntie be wanting somebody in their penthouse. So I see you, auntie. But I'm glad you came, and hopefully today something was said to help some women out. But we have a few questions before you go.
Okay.
And this is from the people from my website. They asked questions that y'all, they asked these questions. I didn't.
Like,
before y'all
I
like Joy, they asked these questions. Okay. How can we get to know a person while the infatuation is there, clouding our minds? Maybe that's what that meant. I just read it, y'all.
So does infatuation really cloud your mind? So we have that new relationship energy that's actually normal to happen for everybody. It doesn't necessarily, it allows you to see these beautiful things in this person that probably exist, but maybe you kind of downplay some of the other things. But how do you get to know a person? You ask questions, you do a whole discovery, you get the values that I'm talking about, right? Like, you know what values are important to you, and you ask questions that kind of line up with, like, what would it look like? You know what I'm saying? If you got married, like, what would be important for you? And I think people get also afraid of, like, interviewing people, but you don't have to do it in that kind of way. It could be in a fun way, a joking way. You could use a card game. You could, yes, all the things, right?
Y'all, this card game, by the way, for real, yeah, that was good.
Yes.
This card game is one of the skin deep cards, but this one is for couples, y'all. And these questions will help you in that infatuation phase. Because the first one literally, like, we're gonna.
That was serious.
Yeah, we're gonna go this one. These, like, they're really good. Let's see. What are things that make you come back for more of me?
Ooh.
See? What will you take away from this relationship? What's the hardest thing about our relationship?
Okay.
Why are we making it work right now? These are, I'm telling. And if you sit with your partner and really dive, or just on the first date, do an icebreaker.
I think it's about I've never had an issue with if I was dating somebody new and we pulled out some of the cards. It was fun because I'm always thinking, like, what am I supposed to ask them? I'm so nervous. And you're talking about thinking straight. Somebody thought straight for you. Just ask this question. You don't have to process it. Yeah, there you
What's
go.
What's your financial status today?
For what now? Oh, okay. Listen.
Right. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, next question. Is there a certain aroma or scent that enhances your natural pheromone? Really?
We'll go with rose. Rose is mine.
I use rose every day, don't I?
Yeah.
Let me tell you.
Hair, like, I'll be like, how come I can't get away from Joy? Don't.
And I might not even want to put that on this episode. Listen, rose.
Yes.
Is it?
It is. It absolutely is.
And I do neroli too. Neroli is a really good one.
Yes, it is. Oh, neroli is also really good just for you personally to kind of like keep your anxiety down, keep you like steady. Yeah.
Neroli is real sexy.
It is.
Okay. Have you come across any couples that are living together and have a healthy, intimate relationship and sleep in different rooms?
No.
No?
Wait. Yes, I've come across some partners that have a healthy, intimate relationship and sleep in different rooms.
How does that work, Dr. Joy? Or like what in their, I guess, that mindset, what is the
reason for it,
or maybe how does it, what's the niche, or I don't know, what is that?
The thing about, I'll say, certain people really value their independence. It's probably their attention style. So they feel safe in knowing there's choice. That's a big thing for us. I have a choice. I can sleep here. I can sleep there. I'm going to tell you the truth. Oftentimes they end up sleeping in the same bed. It's just the idea that I had the choice. So yes, that's what it is. Yep.
I would go into my personal life, but I remember in the past, the choice did always make everything better.
Yes.
And I never chose the other choice. I literally, like what you just said, I always was like, oh, well, I just like knowing that I could.
Then you can, right? I'm not a prisoner.
It's really, it's like a freedom in your chest physically. Like, oh, well, I'm not going anywhere. Let's go.
And think of how it makes your partner feel knowing that you have the choice and you chose to sleep in the bed with them. So both of y'all kind of win from that.
And then you go to round 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, I can see that. Okay. Hope that answered your question. Ask her, that's funny. Ask her if she knows what happens chemically during sexual intercourse that could literally drive a person crazy. Y'all are crazy.
Crazy like what? Like you
coming back for more. You ain't burning house down, slashing tires, You know these people be going crazy.
The dopamine dropped too low. Okay,
Yep.
so your dopamine obviously goes up, right? It raises. The chemical thing that happens when two people come together, you got your pheromones going. When desire is built, it's literally like taking a drug. It's the same thing. This is something that we've actually talked about couples who maybe deal with addiction and are not having as much sex. And some of the recommendations is to have more sex. And so you start maybe using whatever you're using less because it's the same thing chemically, but the withdrawal, unfortunately, can often be the same. So when you're with somebody who's really just that the chemicals come together for you like that,
you got a detox.
Girl, stop calling my phone. No, but listen, just one more thing. So what happens is the same thing that happens for you if you are doing a potent drug. So which is God's gift to us, honestly. It really is. If it's a stable relationship, why would I not want to keep coming back and hitting that? Like that doesn't meaning in terms of using, like, why would I not want to come back and get that high? This was given to us for a reason so that we could enjoy each other in this way. But that is actually the problem what you're talking about with the people who are connecting with people who don't have that feeling for them. So when you keep trying to come back, but Pusher Man's like, no, store's closed. You just a wreck. Like, what you mean? Yeah, I'm done. I'm good. Your money's no good here. What?
I'm good. Yeah. It's terrible. Yeah. Okay. Do you feel like the roles have I'll say that. Do you feel like the roles have switched where men aren't as aggressive anymore and women have become the initiators?
In sex or in what?
Like dating, relationships?
Not really.
No.
I mean, I think more women may be speaking about it, may feel more comfortable with themselves that they can approach people, whatever, but I don't think it's really switched. More times than not, I'll have women who are very clear about the fact that they feel like a man should come to them and should initiate. And I have never met a man who was like, I don't want to initiate. I don't want to go, and talk to this person. So I don't think it's switched, but I think people are being more out loud about things. You got to understand, we're so about social media and talking about all the things we do. You think there weren't women that we have seen in the past that we know are powerful that didn't, you think Nina Simone was always waiting for somebody to come up to her?
No.
Like, exactly.
No.
Right? So we just talk about this stuff more, but I don't think anything has switched. I think things are just as they are, but they're publicized.
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Do you know ways that a couple can spice up their relationship? Could you just give a few tips? Just as in fun, just to, because some people are like, well, we've been together for 7 years and now we don't really do much. Like, can you give them something to through it? Because she's spicy, y'all.
7 years is really a thing. They talk about the 7-year itch. It's so funny. Couples will come like, oh, we've been together 7 years. It's an actual thing.
Oh, wow.
You need to be intentional. What I'll say, my partner and I do that I'm pretty intentional about is we travel when we can, whenever we can. And if that means we travel up the road or we do a staycation, we just get an Airbnb or a really nice hotel in town and eat somewhere different and do something different. That's what we do. You create adventures in your life and do it together, right? So it doesn't have to be out of this world. It just has to be, we love being together. We love laughing together. Like, my partner is my best friend. He's absolutely my best friend. So I could go somewhere and the plane is delayed for 6 hours. And it kind of amazes me when I think about it. I'm never bored. Like, if we're sitting here together, we're perfectly fine. Whether it's not we fell asleep or we're talking about nonsense or we're YouTubing something or we're laughing at some nonsense on TikTok or we're just having a conversation. It's just the fact that remembering, like, hey, remember that this is your best friend that you married?
Oh, wow.
Remember that again. So is there a place that you go, like, especially ladies or guys, when you go with your best friend, are you ever like, man, our relationship is so boring now? That's not what we do with our best friend. Like, they just your best friend. And then you just pipe it back up and
what? Some new girl.
Yes, go have an adventure. Like, yeah, like let's, there's lots of stuff my partner's done. I was like, really, you gonna do that with me? He's like, yeah, I'll help you. Like, okay, let's go do it. Let's go do some nonsense together. All right, thank you. So just that togetherness. Just what would you do with your best friend?
I like it.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you once again.
You're welcome.
You're amazing. Beautiful. You're absolutely
ditto. I guess it's a joy thing.
It is a joy because she's joy.
Yeah.
Double dose today.
Yes. Might be too much. Don't choke. Oh my God.
But no, I appreciate you and I love you. So hopefully this helped you guys in some way. Leave a comment, drop some hearts. Make sure y'all go pick up the cards in my Amazon store. And follow Joy. Her Instagram and details will be in the description as well. Before you go, there's one thing I want you to know. There's always room for you on the couch. Peace.